Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream where we've got a little bit of. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. Where we've got a little bit of news to discuss, specifically surrounding a little bit of a transfer rumor that was going on over the last few days. Parag doesn't think about you at all. Okay, are you feeling okay, Zach? But got to talk about a little bit of a transfer rumour that is ongoing and sort of shenaniganing, and that was quite bright and that was fun. But has turned out to not happen. Again, right, before we dive into all of this, I'm just gonna sort of set one thing out. I'm gonna set out that I didn't particularly care that much about signing Josh Brownhill. I know that he's not hugely a 10. I've more seen him as like a creative 8 kind of player, and he's not a right winger, which I think we need a little bit more than we do a 10. In addition to that, it's one of those where I'm not too peeved and I'm happy-ish with the squad that we've got, and I know that we can't really adjust it from this point onwards, so it's completely fine. So, I'm going to have a little bit of a conversation, a little bit of a chatter about where we are currently at, about what's happened with the Brownhill stuff, and about roughly where we're going to be sort of landing at the moment, to be completely honest with you. So, to begin, if I just do a little bit of a search for Josh Brownhill, he's been fairly persistently linked with Leeds United for a little bit of a while now. So it was mentioned earlier in the window that he was kind of fancying the Leeds project. He was like, oh, that looks kind of impressive. I might fancy that. And he's been sort of shopping around for offers and bids and all that kind of stuff, which you probably would if you're him, because it means that you're in the position to sort of maximise what you are able to do. However, a few hours ago, he made a decision. He made a very, very, very big decision. And that was that the £100,000 a week contract that he particularly wanted, which is the number that was being quoted by basically everybody, he decided to find that in the Saudi Pro League with Al Shabab, who are not the best of teams in the Saudi Pro League, it has to be said. There are 4 clubs in the Saudi Pro League that are just owned by the PIF, which means that they're effectively owned by the state itself. So they tend to win every single season, and all of the other sides get left behind a little bit. So, for example, was it Al Qadsiya that Gerard used to manage for? They've not gone particularly far, but that's because they're not being owned by the country itself, which puts them in a little bit of a weird position. But Brownhill, plenty of cash thrown in his general direction by Saudi Arabia. For a little bit of context, to match the net pay that Brownhill is getting over in Saudi Arabia, we would have to pay something like £200,000 a week, because we got taxes. Over in Saudi Arabia, they got vastly less taxes, which is the way that the Saudis do. On this, just to cover this, it's not one that we have to do. It's a link that we had with a player, and I thought it was worthy of talking about, to be honest with you, because it's the international break and there's shit all else to talk about. So here we are discussing Josh Brownhill. It's a lot of cash any chance we consider Ericsson. It feels like experience, set piece, and creativity that we need. I had this conversation with Joe a little bit earlier. And if I just do a little bit of a look at Ericsson, specifically Christian Eriksen, hop over to his transfer marks, because why not? Right, so. And then monitor to it. There we go. Cool. Christian Eriksen is currently 33 years of age, which is on the older end of footballers. So I would say almost certainly not one of those players that I would be like, yeah, we need to jump at him. Add to the fact that he isn't particularly mobile, which doesn't really suit the system that we need, and that means that he wouldn't be able to get around the pitch enough, wouldn't be able to do that much in terms of helping out with the defence. Add on to the fact that as much as a lot of people have pointed out that, yeah, I suppose he's a set-piece taker, that, for me, doesn't hugely matter if you're a set-piece taker that isn't on the pitch very often. And if you're set piece taker isn't on the pitch, then realistically, what are they going to do for you? They're going to do effectively nothing. So at the moment, the guy's without a club. I can see him staying without a club, to be completely honest with you, because I'll have a look at his stats across various seasons. If we have a look at last season, he played 23 games in the Premier League for about 1,000 minutes. 1,000 minutes is not tons. And in that time, he got a single goal and he got 2 assists, which ain't fantastic. Did a little bit better in the FL Cup and the Europa League, sure, but I think Europa League is a lower level of average standard than the Premier League, which is going to be a little bit of a test for Eriksen, I think, at this point. So as much as a lot of people are saying we need to be looking at the free agent market, I am not sure there is that much quality in the free agent market at the minute. Yeah, Jonesy, my current thought is if Spurtjan is available in the January market, that's one that we potentially go for because we know he's a very good footballer. A little bit of a sort of hinty, nudgy nudge for you, by the way. Tomorrow, a little bit after 3, I'm potentially thinking of doing a Football Manager stream kind of thing, because the updated data set is coming out tomorrow from one of the more reliable modding people. And I'm going to give the window another shot, because I'll have whatever the budget actually looks like, and I'm going to throw that at getting a number 10. And we'll see how that one goes. Need a Pablo type, need a creative spike. I don't know if I need a Pablo type though, because Pablo didn't necessarily do too well in the Premier League, because I think Premier League is naturally more system based. I wouldn't call it embarrassing for Leeds. People outside of Leeds United, and because this is, at the end of the day, something that the Leeds United circle care more about than anyone else, we're in the spot of, oh, everything that we do is really, really relevant to us. But other people will look at it and go, well, that was a quiet deadline day. And they won't give that much of a shit. Because as much as we call it an embarrassment, other clubs are looking at the entirety of the window. And yes, there is an argument that across the entirety of the window, getting in another forward would have been good. Because it would. But also, we've done defensive shape and structure better than a lot of clubs. We've done the midfield better than a lot of clubs. To the extent that, as was mentioned in the chat a little bit earlier, in terms of the odds, we're looking better for survival than Wolves. Which is real nice, because Wolves are in a bad place at the minute. And the more that we can cause issues for that, then I'm kind of happy, you know? Surely Eriksen or Ziyech is fit enough 15 minutes at the end to try and unlock a defence. Ziyech most recently played for that club in Turkey, which is enough reason for me to say that I don't necessarily want him. Eriksen, sure, would be okay for 15 minutes, but at the same time, you bring him on for 15 minutes, he doesn't do anything, everyone's going to go, well, why did we sign a 32-year-old on a free? It's a lose-lose at this point. Maybe our new set-piece coach is genius. I've seen someone mentioning set-piece coach, but I've not seen details. I'm not sure. They could fall out with Farker due to attitude almost immediately. Yeah, like, we do still have to align with the no dickhead rule. Because the moment you get dickheads in, it's quite hard to pull the squad back from that sort of not great place, and you sort of build and you build and you build. But to sum up, Brownhill to Leeds United, not happening. Instead, he's chosen Saudi Arabia, where he's going to receive £100,000 a week, which I think is too much for Josh Brownhill, but we're in the day of modern football, where players get a hell of a lot of cash for not doing too much. This is going to have been a relatively short stream, by the way. Going to do a longer stream tomorrow afternoon into evening. And where did those words go? And I'm also going to do a video for the morning, because I'm going to try and get back to the more consistent content kind of thing that I'm not very good at, because I'm very good at tripping myself up a little bit. So to fix that, I've done a very, very short stream right now that will functionally act as a video for people that have a look in the near future. But yeah, I think it was Graham Smith that said we're getting a dedicated set-piece coach. I might do a video on that in the morning. I think that could be quite good. Yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, again, really, really short stream. Sorry about that. What did I have for tea? I had a curry. It was delicious. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please pop a like on it. It's massively appreciated. Helps things get pushed out a little bit more. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And let me know if you like the shorter format live streams. I'm kind of curious about how they go. Because if they go well, I'll do more of them. If they don't do well, then I will do longer ones. We'll see. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.